Welcome to Venice. We're Karin and Jeremy, and we have 2 days to see the best of Venice. We're cramming in as many must-see sights and charming canals as we possibly can, starting off with a tour of St. Mark's Basilica. Then we get a bird's-eye view of Venice from St. Mark's Campanile and ride the vaporetto to an epic sunset spot in Venice. On day 2, we stop by the Bridge of Sighs and Piazza San Marco before heading to Murano, where they're famous for glass blowing. In the evening, we visit the DOGE'S Palace and the Correr Museum to learn more of the fascinating history of Venice. It's the best of Venice in 2 days, and it's a whirlwind adventure, but totally worth it. So let's get started.
Good morning, friends.
Today we are leaving Florence and taking an early morning train to Venice, so it should be pretty fun. But first we gotta catch this train, so let's get going.
We took a 7 a.m. train from Florence, and in just 2.5 hours we were in Venice. We dropped off our bags at our hotel and headed to central Venice to start our day.
Well, we finally made it to St. Mark's Square in the center of Venice. It was quite a walk. Don't trust the directions on Google Maps. I mean, the directions are correct, but don't trust the time estimate. Give yourself an extra 5 to 10 minutes at least.
Our first stop in Venice is St. Mark's Basilica. The basilica dates back to the 11th century, and this church is absolutely worth a stop on your trip to Venice. There's always a long line to enter the church, but you can buy your tickets in advance and skip the line, or join a guided tour. The inside of the church is covered in tiny mosaic tiles depicting saints, prophets, and stories from the Bible. Some scenes have been replaced over time, so there's a real range of art, from traditional Byzantine styles to more modern Renaissance images. The mosaics are stunning and glitter in the light. If you buy the right ticket to the Basilica, you also get access to the Loggia, which has incredible views of Venice. The Loggia is home to 4 bronze horse statues, which you might recognize from the movie Inferno starring Tom Hanks. No one is certain when the original horses were created. Most estimates place the statues at around 175 AD, but they could be as old as the 5th century BCE. The statues were looted from Constantinople in the early 1200s. Due to their age, the statues are kept inside the church's museum. The statues outside are replicas from the 1980s.
Let this be a lesson to everyone else. Book your entrance tickets for the Basilica in advance so that you don't have to wait in this absurd line. Well, after exploring St. Mark's Basilica, we are now going up St. Mark's Bell Tower. There is a bit of a wait for this one, but we have skipped the line tickets that we booked in advance, so we get to go right in. Let's go.
Unlike most towers in Italy, the Campanile in Venice has an elevator, so it's very easy and convenient to get to the top. The bell tower was built in the 1500s and stands at about 99 meters high, making it a great vantage point for views of Venice.
The view from the top of St. Mark's Campanile is pretty incredible and definitely worth the ticket price. We're on a vaporetto and we're going to try and find a place to watch sunset. It's a pretty nice view out here on the deck.
The vaporetto system in Venice is sort of like a public bus system in other cities, and it's a great way to get around and see Venice from the water.
That vaporetto timing really worked out well.
Oh yeah, perfect for sunset.
Perfect for sunset. We took line 2 around the western edge of Venice, and it brought us over here to an island called San Giorgio. And now we have pretty nice views of Venice lighting up at night. We've got historic cafes on either side of the piazza, and they both have live bands, and they kind of are famous for having sort of dueling music. Right now, this is just incredible.
If you thought Venice was great during the day, just wait until night. All the day trippers have gone home, and it becomes so much more peaceful and a truly magical experience.
Good morning from Venice. We have a second day to explore and we have a lot of ambitious plans, I think.
Yeah, a lot of transport.
Maybe we'll go to some of the Venetian islands that are outside of the main area, like Murano or Burano. We haven't decided, but possibly. And we also are going to see the Doge's Palace today. Should be a fun day, so stick around. We are at a very famous landmark in Venice. On this side is the Doge's Palace, and on this side is a prison, and in between them is a bridge, a very, very famous bridge. Back in the day, if you committed a crime, you would go to the Doge's Palace to receive your sentence, and then you would be transferred to the prison to serve your time. And as you were doing so, you would have to cross over this bridge, you would look out the window, and you'd have one final glimpse of Venice before you were incarcerated. The legend has it that you would be so overcome by the beauty of Venice that you would sigh. And so therefore it's called the Bridge of Sighs. Sighs with a not a Z. We are in Piazza San Marco, and it is the only square in Venice that is grand enough to have earned the title Piazza.
It's nearly 2 football fields long and surrounded by the offices of the Venetian Republic.
It used to be entirely ringed with cafes as well, but there are still a few standing, including Cafe Florian, and at night the cafes have dueling orchestras, which makes for great ambience. If you're a fan of birds, you'll probably love Venice because there are pigeons and seagulls everywhere. In 2008, locals outlawed feeding pigeons, but tourists haven't exactly gotten the message. Plenty of people take food and try and get the birds to land on them, which honestly sounds disgusting. So locals hate pigeons. They're just basically like rats of the sky, you know? I don't know. But they love seagulls because, fun fact, seagulls eat pigeons. Who knew? So ridiculous. After spending some time at Piazza San Marco, we have hopped on a vaporetto and we are heading to Murano. It's an island off of Venice, known for its artisanal glass blowing. Should be interesting. We have no clue what to do or where to go or what to see, so this will be an adventure. We made it to Murano! Well, we just hopped off the boat in Murano.
And within 30 seconds, we were watching glass blowing.
It's kind of crazy. We just turned left and someone was like, glass blowing tour starts now.
Yep.
And we just joined it.
Yep. So they bring you to watch the glass blowing. It takes about 5 minutes or so.
It's very fast.
And then they take you to the shop where you can buy stuff.
Yeah, they have a showroom. The further into the showroom you go, the more expensive and intricate the pieces become. If you want a really fancy piece, I mean, some of those chandeliers, they were like 18,000 euros.
You're going to shell out.
Yeah, I mean, the more difficult it is to make a piece, of course you're going to pay more for it.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
But we're going to walk around a little bit, check out the area.
Go do a little exploring around Murano. Might pick something up as a souvenir, possibly. Otherwise, photos are a fantastic souvenir.
Murano has been the center of glassmaking in Venice since 1291, when all glassmakers were ordered to move to Murano in order to prevent fires from destroying the main city of Venice. Murano became known for its high-quality glass beads, mirrors, and chandeliers, and for a while the island was the main glass producer in Europe. There are still several prominent factories making high-quality Murano glass, and exploring the area makes for a great day trip from Venice.
Well, I did a little damage in one of the glass shops. Got some very expensive Murano glass beads, but they were selling their necklaces for multiple hundreds of dollars. And I know how to make jewelry, so I figure I can do it myself for a little bit cheaper. is still very pricey though.
Yeah.
More than I would typically pay for beads, but it was fun.
We've really liked Murano. It's pretty relaxing. There's a lot fewer crowds.
Yeah, it's a nice escape from Venice. I do imagine that it would probably be much busier if it were peak summer.
Yeah.
But it's pretty chill right now. It's just a nice, charming place to explore, but I think our boat is coming, so we should probably get on it. Well, we made it on our boat, and by boat I mean vaporetto, not some day tour. We took public transit to get to Murano. It's very easy. Venice has more than 400 bridges, but only 4 of them cross the Grand Canal, including the Rialto. A bridge has stood here since 1180, but the current bridge was built in 1588, and it marks the geographical center of Venice.
Now we're going to explore another major site in Venice. We're standing in the courtyard of the Doge's Palace. The Doge was the ruler of Venice. He was essentially an elected king, but only elected by the nobles, not the general population. The architecture here is pretty interesting. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge of styles that were added by different doges to put their own mark on the place.
Behind me is the Stairway of Giants. This used to be the main entrance for visitors to the Doge's Palace. Imagine a foreign dignitary coming here and having to climb up the stairs. They sure would get a sense of Venice's power and might just by looking at the grandeur of this thing. It's pretty incredible.
Walking through the halls and interior rooms of the Doge's Palace, you really get a sense of how grand the Venetian Empire once was. For about 400 years, from 1150 to 1550, this was the most powerful place in Europe. The influence of the Doge was felt far and wide, and the palace is designed to reflect that and impress visitors with its grandeur. The palace is decorated with gold-coffered ceilings, paintings by famous Venetians, and of course the traditional terrazzo floors that originated in Venice in the 15th century. The palace was the home of the Doge, but it was also where laws were made and justice was doled out. Elected senators would meet in the palace to discuss new laws, and the secretive Council of 10 would meet to determine punishments for lawbreakers. There was even a way to submit anonymous complaints using letterboxes placed around the palace, which were called the Mouth of Truth.
Well, there's a lot to see here and a lot of history to learn about, but one of the more interesting rooms was the weapons room, which included a 17th century attempt at a 20-barrel machine gun.
We made it to the final room in the Doge's Palace before entering the prisons. This is the Hall of the Grand Council, and behind me is where the Doge used to sit. Behind the Doge, on the wall, is a massive painting called Paradise. It is 570 square feet, and it is actually the largest oil painting in the world.
It's a short walk from the Hall of the Grand Council to the prisons, showing just how swift justice could be during the Venetian Empire. And our last stop in the palace was the Bridge of Sighs to take in the infamous view.
I don't think that's the sound of a sad sigh, crazy.
True.
There you go.
I wasn't in the right mindset.
I guess not.
We came to the Correr Museum. It's on the opposite side of the St. Mark's Square, opposite from the Basilica. It's like 8 p.m. There's really no one here. We only came for a nice view overlooking the piazza, and we got that, but we also got a lot of weapons too. We're pretty museumed out for the day, so we're probably gonna just breeze through this one and maybe head to a cafe and enjoy a drink before we call it a night.
Entrance to the Correr Museum is included in the ticket price for the Doge's Palace, and for history buffs, it can be a great place to get a comprehensive overview of Venetian history. It's usually not a busy museum, making it a great way to escape the crowds and take in some beautiful views of St. Mark's Square, while learning a thing or two about Venice along the way.
Based on this painting, Venice must have been very busy during the day.
Talk about rush hour.
I think our last day in Italy was a big success.
Oh yeah.
We had a lot of fun today, and we're ending with some gelato. We're heading back to the hotel, and we have an early flight to catch tomorrow, so we will see you in the next one.
You don't like my way of doing it?
No. Holy just across from the main Venice area.
Land mass?
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't think the mic can hear the music.
Oh, the mic.
It's nearly 2 foot bill.
Foot by foot?
It's nearly 2 foot bill.